Justin Tucker. Of course, you've seen over the last month with the accusations by massage therapists, similar to Deshaun Watson, and that's we'll talk about the kind of similarities with it as well. But from My Sports Update or RE, he said that several additional massage therapists have accused Ravens kicker Justin Tucker of inappropriate sexual behavior, bringing the total up to 16 women now at 8 Baltimore area spas per Baltimore Banner. And if you want to click on the article, I'll leave a description down or a link to this tweet down below if you want to read more into the article. But it's kind of discussing this. We have to also keep in mind this is all for now accusations. There's nothing criminal or anything like that. I don't think he's even been taken to court yet on any of these, at least to my recollection, if you want to say that. But it's definitely first off, I'll just say it's sad. It's certainly if it's true that all these 16 women are telling the truth on that, there's no question that Justin Tucker should be banned from the NFL. He should be kicked off the team, and he should never have an opportunity again to be in the NFL. That's first and foremost, if everything is true. And again, this is almost a similar thing like Deshaun Watson, though I would say it doesn't feel that as polarizing as Deshaun Watson. I don't know if it just comes down to just the positions they play, or that was just a little bit a bigger story because of him asking for a trade out, and that was already a big topic as it was. And then the shocking reports came out, or if you want to blame it on anything else for the comparisons. But you don't really see too much about, like I said, for Tucker in the situation. But we keep getting updates, and we're up to 16 women now. If all these, which is, you look at the list of the amount of women, it's highly unlikely that all these are lying. If you want to take that, I know it's a polarizing discussion, non-football wise, but just this whole, situation with things like this in general society, which I don't want to really lean into towards too, like really having a discussion about that. But it's again very polarizing, no question about that. So I doubt that all 16 women are lying. I think there are some, if you want to say at the very least, there are some that are telling the truth. And again, I think we'll see what comes down to it. I don't know if I really think he's gonna ever, even if it's true or if it keeps going up higher for the account, I just don't think he's gonna get criminally charged or anything's gonna be slapped on him. I'm sure eventually he will get a suspension like Deshaun Watson. I don't know if it's gonna be the full extent to 11 games, but again, if the count keeps rising and there's more damaging evidence and stories and so forth about Justin Tucker and what he did, if not that there hasn't been enough of it, then we'll see. We'll see about how the NFL takes some root. If it's gonna be almost a year suspension, 11 games, 5 games, whatever they are, they're always hit or miss with their suspensions of that. They obviously treat someone who gambles worse than someone who assaults people. We've seen that plenty of times throughout the NFL. So the suspension wise and when it's going to come down is going to be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be this upcoming year in 2025, but it's already a tough decision for the Baltimore Ravens. And quickly just putting this aside and just looking at his playing ability, it's already coming into question about that. He is not the kicker he used to be. He's still one of the better ones out in the league, no question about that, but he's not reliable as he once was years ago. And we're going to quickly just look into his stats and then his contract and compare it to other kickers throughout the NFL. So right now you see his kicking percentage is the worst it's been in his career. You have to go all the way, in terms of picking one that was even worse, was all the way back in 2015, 82%. Outside of that, it's been a great. You look at 1 year where it was 96.6, 94.6, 97.4. He will go down as, I think, arguably the best kicker of all time in terms of what he's accomplished. If you want to compare him to, say, Adam Vinatieri's better just because of the championships, or the more championships, I should say, he has, then that's fine. But he will go down as one of the best kickers of all time. But with that being said, he is very unreliable now. I won't say very, but he is unreliable now, especially at long distances. So we look at 2024, he was 4 for 4 from 20 to 29 yards, perfect. 30 to 39 yards, he was perfect, 7 for 7. This is where it starts to get a little bit iffy, and this is where it really comes down to, you see 22 of 30, missing 8 kicks. 40 to 49, he's at 5 for 8. A little bit worrisome with that, and especially bleeds over into his moneymaker, which he was so great about, clutch about, was long field goals, 50-plus yards. He has the record a couple of years ago of the longest kick ever in history. Now it's starting to, at this point, can you rely on him? You can, but it's not maybe the best that you feel comfortable with as opposed to years past. He is 6 for 11, 50 plus yards out. The longest he did make was 56. You have to go all the way back to 2021 that I see right now for the record was 66 back in 2021. And really since that point, at this at the distance between 40 to 50 plus, he has started to worry you a tad bit with. I mean, 4 for 5 for 44.9 yards in 2022, not horrible. He missed one kick, but you see 9 for 14 for 50 plus. You see 11 to 12 from 44.9. Again, not horrible. That's great. One missed kick, but then he's 1 for 5 and 50 plus yards in 2023, and now 6 to 11. So now you're starting to see that the range is not as great as the years have gone on. Especially the last few years. Again, you have to go back to 2021 when he has an amazing year. 35 or 37, only missed 2 field goals from 40 to 49, was 6 for 6, 50 plus. And like I said, he had a 66-yard field goal in that one. But now it's getting to a point where he's starting to be somewhat of a liability at times. He's definitely, I think, screwed the Ravens out of some points in some games this season and in years past. And this is probably the discussion is going to be where, again, I don't want to say he's a horrible kicker now. I don't want to say like he's washed, this and that. Like, he's still a viable kicker, but he's not what he used to be. And especially at 50-plus yard range, when you have to make those in those big situations, it's not great. It isn't. You're starting to get some worry about it, and especially for the money he's getting paid for. And it's tough to really think about this because I don't think any of us really think too often about the salary for kickers and where they rank. It's not like it's an easy grasp of like quarterbacks or wide receivers or running backs where you can easily understand that. Where kickers, it's like, where's the value really with that? Is this overpay? Is it not? But right now he is set to make over $7 million in 2025. He'll be age 36. I don't know if he is right now. He soon will be, but he'll be 36 in 2025. Again, $7.072 million. He does have a dead cap hit of 7.5, so it wouldn't make sense to cut him right now if they wanted to combine both the slower down or decline of production as well as just the accusations. If some of it does stick as well, so you look at this and you go post June 1st, they save $4.2 million if they release him then. Before that is a negative $445,000 in savings, and you see the trade as well, $445,000, and both ways again for post release, if they want to trade or release them, they save $4.2 million in the cap, which I do think this will play into a part of it. I really do. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't believe he will get cut. That's just my take on it. As we've seen, many players have some controversy that haven't got released. Not that there has been players in the past, but you see more likely than not, especially players that have elite talent or great talent, they get away with a lot more things, and not just on the NFL level and sports in general. If you want to look at beyond for maybe in 2026 next offseason, if they wanted to do a pre-first release, they save 2.42. After that, it's 4.2. So again, I think it's they save money regardless at any point. I don't think it really hurts them. And then same thing for this one too. Even at that point in 2027, you can outright cut them, and it's no problem whatsoever. But that just kind of, again, just going back to what it just showed for the post-cut release. If this was something that they're really serious about, again, with just both the production and the controversy, you would probably have to wait until June 1st for anything to happen. If people are kind of beating the table saying that he has to be released now, he has to be gone. For the business standpoint for Ravens, you're most likely going to have to, like I said, wait till June 1st for that release date if it does happen at the earliest. And then also to compare him to the NFL in 2025, he's going to be the highest paid kicker in the NFL. And once again, just going back into the slow decline, if you want to say, in his production, especially at yardage, long range as well. Once again, with the controversy, and we'll see with the months ahead if it gets to the total of Deshaun Watson. Because I think Watson in total got to 30, I do believe, or at least around that range, and that organization took huge backlash, and that was mostly a part of it too because of the contract that he got, a fully guaranteed contract for a guy who was accused of by close to 30 women, or if not 30 women, of the similar circumstances that Justin Tucker is in right now. So it's not, the blowback isn't as much as that, because I think also part of it too is just like the huge difference in polarizing difference in the contracts. But still, again, regardless of the money, he's not getting paid $50-60 million. Whatever Deshaun Watson's getting paid on average, he's only making $7, but he's still beat the highest paid kicker, so he's still making top dollar money for a guy that, again, has a lot of baggage. I doubt all the women are lying, so there is going to be something that sticks. That's definitely going to be a tough decision for the Ravens organization and what they want to go into the future. But again, I think it goes into, like, once again, I keep saying over and over again, just the slow decline in production, where they maybe look at this and go, hey, we can't rely on this guy. The last few years, especially this season, he's coming off of a career worst in his kicking percentage, especially at long range. He's still reliable from the 20 to 39 yard range, somewhat reliable still in 40 to 49. But again, 50 plus is just still, is starting to, you get to a little bit worried about that, and you have to really sit back and think for the Ravens, is that worth the number one, highest paid kicker in the NFL? If we cannot truly rely on you in those big moments to make those clutch kicks, is that worth the much? On top of, again, the controversy and the pushback they're going to get, and the pressure of having to do something to Justin Tucker, as well as the suspension, if there is one. I mean, I do believe the NFL will place a suspension on there, and it's definitely going to be another polarizing thing if he does not get at least the same amount of the suspension time as opposed to Deshaun Watson, because that's also going to bring another part of why they're being treated differently, and that's a whole different discussion I don't really want to get into. I want to try and keep it at least relatively possible on the sports side, but people are going to make that those assumptions as well. So I think right now you have to almost treat him as the same as Deshaun Watson, at the very least, with again with 16 counts of women coming out against him, and you presume that there's going to be more out there. I don't know how much more there will be, but you presume there'll be more women that come out in the next few months and wherever I'm hitting down the line that are going to accuse the same thing of what accuse of what Justin Tucker has been labeled as right now. You have to think that it's going to be at least a 11-game suspension, almost an entire season gone. Is that something worth it's worth having around for if he's going to be gone for another year? It's another year on top of his age. He'll be 37 in 2026. Is that worth the money? And we go to 2026 right now. He drops down to only the second highest, but again, he's still getting paid top dollar money. And if you want to go to 2027, his final year of his deal, he's still a second highest paid kicker. At this point, I just don't know if it is worth it. Just looking at the concrete of what we know as opposed to the allegations. Once again, we'll wait and see what happens with that and what is true and what's not. But the only thing we know for sure, for facts right now, is numbers for his contract. For right now, I don't want to be someone that jumps assuming. I've given you both sides. If it is true, he should be gone out of the league. If not, I mean, then I feel sorry for him. But again, just seeing how many women have accused him of this, I doubt it. So you have that instance into it, and again, for the production, the concrete evidence that we know about his contract, the money, the stats, it doesn't. To me, right now, I don't think it is worth top dollar money if he's starting to be a hindering this offense, especially in big situations. Because if he misses a long field goal in a clutch situation, a game-winning situation, that's cost the team wins, obviously, and also now on top of that too. Not point to stating the obvious, but also just the playoff seeding. That could be a difference, maybe getting the 1 seed. That could be the difference in making the playoffs. I mean, you just don't know how the season's going to play out. So there's definitely going to be a lot of discussions with Justin Tucker all around of what they're going to be able to do. Again, if I had to make an early guess right now, like I said a few minutes ago, I believe he's going to be back on the team. Do I think he's going to get suspended in 2025? I don't know. I'm going to lean, I don't think so. Early guess, it'll probably be at the earliest 2026. And at that point, who knows what happens at his career, if he's still around with Baltimore or not. So like I said, we'll see. It's going to be very interesting how this develops and how this keeps getting any further. I mean, I feel bad. Yeah, if it is true, you like to think about, you think about the amount of people that have come out against Justin Tucker. If it's true, I feel absolutely horrible for them. And like I said, he should be out of the NFL immediately, or at the very least for financial wise, he should be gone June 1st. So we'll see how the situation plays out, how many more people come out against him, and see what comes at the end of the day.